Neechie derives actually from a Cree word pronounced Niwi-chiwagan, my friend, my follower. And Neechie comes from Nichiwagan, my friend, my follower, my partner. However you're using it in your sentence, that's what it means. So we promote the friend aspect of it because we're a positive brand promoting a positive message. Well, I grew up on Sweetgrass First Nation, just west of the Battlefords. What was life like back there? Well, it's quiet. There's not a lot of opportunities to advance yourself in this world because you're so limited with resources from, employment. The city, a town or city is usually several kilometers away, and most people don't have transportation. So it's very hard to advance yourself on the reserve. That's why there's a lot of depression, suicide, alcohol, and all those kind of negative things that hold people back from getting anywhere in this world. A lot of people on the reserve, they're running wild. I'm really fortunate because I look back now and my mom didn't let me do that. So I was very fortunate that I was home a lot. I made my own fun. During my time on the reserve, I transferred from being educated on the First Nation to going to a nearby town named Cutknife. And during my time in Cutknife, I was able to make a lot of friends. But one friend was the one kid from South Africa, Johan, who was the one who changed my life. He noticed I wasn't playing soccer after school. So he asked me one day, why aren't you playing, right? And I had to explain to him that, for one, my only transportation was the bus to and from school. We were growing up on social assistance. I had all these things that were against me, so I couldn't even afford to play on this team. So he wasn't used to hearing this. He told his family that evening, and the next day at recess, he comes to me again and he says, hey, Kendal, I told my parents what you told me, and we want to help you out, right? So in that moment, he gave me an opportunity of a lifetime, right? So they were driving me to and from soccer practices. I was at his house almost every weekend visiting, became best friends. It was awesome. But before they left, they gave us a 1986 Crown Victoria. Now this vehicle allowed me and my 3 younger siblings to be involved in extracurricular activities as well. So they were able to play sports too. Everyone has role models, and for me, up until this point, there was a lot of my role models were obviously my mother, my late grandmother at the time, and my other uncles and aunties that I would always see, and they were always playing volleyball. And this was the sport that really took them places, so I thought, I'm gonna try volleyball and give it a shot. I tried out in grade 10. I remember walking into that gym, and I was so intimidated because I was only Aboriginal, thrown into this situation. So I was walking out of the gym, and right before I was leaving the gym, the coach already knew my name. And he says, I want you to stay on this team, Kendal. I said, you're probably not going to get a lot of playing time, but I want to work with you and I want to make you a better player. You have a lot of potential. By grade 12, I was the team captain. I was the leader. And right after grade 12, I took a volleyball scholarship for 2 years to play for Keano College up in northern Alberta, Fort McMurray. First year, I was the Rookie of the Year on the team. Second year as a team captain, and then after that second year, luck would have it that I got into the University of Saskatchewan Indian Teacher Education Program. Everywhere I go to speak, I talk about taking advantage of your gifts because everyone's gifted. You could be a bookworm, you could be an artist, whatever. Take advantage of that gift because that gift's going to take you places and it's going to get you through school. For me, sports took me through school. I was never an A student. I was a 60, 70 student, if that. If I wasn't in sports, I don't know if I would have went on to university. I never even thought of university until I graduated. But then, when I experienced college education at the first hand, I was like, holy man, this is an eye-opener, right? So maybe I should actually take this seriously because I'm actually doing just as good as I was doing in high school. Maybe I can actually do better at university. So by my last year in education, I had this idea to start this clothing line that would help kids. So Brett Wilson, he has this center at the University of Saskatchewan. It's called the Wilson Center for Entrepreneurial Excellence. And every year he has this idea challenge that's available to any student throughout campus, basically taking the best ideas, business ideas, into business plans, and they select the top 3 or whatever, and they give cash prizes. That year I happened to take 3rd and I won 10 grand, so. So when I first started this brand, I had to prove to people, the buyers, that I was serious about helping kids. So the first thing I did was I started coaching the teams that I started. So that took a lot of my time. In 2012, I had this ultimatum. I said to myself, you know, I'm gonna give this to my first actual big shot, and I have to give it full time, otherwise it's not gonna go where I want it to go. My son wasn't even 1 yet, he was still an infant. My fiance, Rachel, was still in school. We were living off our student loans. So I signed a lease at the 220 downtown. I wasn't even there for 2 weeks. I had applied for a competition in this mall. It was called Saskatoon's Finest Entrepreneur 2012. And then within 2 weeks, I got the call that I won the competition. So it was pretty cool. So with that competition, it allowed us to win a kiosk for 3 months, get a lot of marketing exposure. We even had a bunch of radio ads for us. It was like a lot of money that they spent on us. So we took that opportunity. We were right in front of the Husky store, not far from here. Our first week, we almost sold out. We weren't prepared. So that was when we knew we had something special. And during those 3 months after that, the mall was so impressed with how we were doing, and they offered us this spot here that wasn't being used at the time. So again, I had to take another chance. I signed a lease, and we're still here today. So. The way we help kids is, and we promote it, I think that really does help people who support things like that. We used a story that I grew up with, did a pay-it-forward technique through a business model, and we're able to help hundreds of kids now throughout Western Canada and potentially Canada.
KidSport is a charity organization that helps provide registration fees for kids who need assistance. I know that KidSport in Saskatoon funds hundreds of thousands of dollars every year for kids to play sports. So to see how much support from the community that takes to provide those opportunities for those kids, it's amazing.
I play hockey and I play ringette. I started skating when I was 3 years old, and my first team I played on was in ringette, and I played that sport for about 7 years. I would say it really helped my self-esteem. I feel really good about myself, and I meet a lot of new friends and a lot of new people, and I don't know, I just myself. I really like sports.
You know, there's so much pressure from peer pressure, you know, drugs, alcohol, games. I fully believe that being involved in sports will keep them out of that lifestyle and out of trouble. So that's why I'm so determined to keep them in sports, and, you know, I'll go above and beyond to pick up their friends, to take them to sports, and, you know, make sure they get to practices and games and everything, just because I know what's out there, and I really want to keep my children away from that.
Sport is probably one of the most important things for kids. It provides them opportunities to try new things, it builds friendships, and the biggest thing that we see is that it builds confidence in some of the kids, and that's the best part, is how excited they are to participate in their activities.
These kids will learn, they'll see all of this stuff, and, you know, they'll learn that just like Kendal did, the founder of Neechie Gear. He experienced that, and he grew up and he passed that along to other kids. So I think that kids that experience all of this will grow up the same way, and they'll pass that on to other kids as well.
I have two brothers that both play soccer, and they're both on the same team. And they help me play soccer, and they teach me.
I have amazing kids. That's not to brag, but but I do. They're so sweet. They're helpful, you know. They keep the calendar. They know when they have games. They know when they have practices. They do their chores. They're home every night. I know where they are. They're not out getting into trouble. They're just really good kids.
Well, I want to continue playing hockey and ringette until, I don't know, I'm like 40. Probably not, but then after that, maybe do something like KidSport and to help out youth.
I've seen Kendal's story, I've heard Kendal's story, and so to see him pay it forward is totally what KidSport is all about. They are happy to help, and the people who donate to KidSport know that it's going to a good cause, know that it's helping people right here in their own community, and to see Kendal support his own community, it's so invaluable.
There's a lot of people that came into my life that have helped me get to where I am today. You can't do anything by yourself. You have to get help And if it just means a few people, then keep those people in your life, because you don't know who's going to help you along the way. And just by saying that is, you have to be a relationship builder. You have to, even if you don't like someone in the business community, a friend, you have to try to get along with everyone, because you never know when those people are going to come into your life and help you. Build relationships and build a brighter tomorrow, because that's how things happen. That's how change happens in this world. So, you know, one person can't do it. Build yourself around a team, make things happen.
If you have program ideas that you'd like to see on Local On Demand, write us at max.local@sasktel.com. Max Local programming is now available online at maxonline.sasktel.com.